You couldn't miss the images if you tried. Before the WNBA All Star game and a powerful show of unity, the league's biggest stars warmed up in shirts with a simple, defiant message: pay us what you owe us. The move sent shockwaves through the sports world and lit up the internet. On one side, you have critics pointing to the league's finances, asking how players can demand more when the WNBA is reportedly losing millions. On the other, you have the players standing firm, demanding a fundamental change to how they are paid. The battle lines are drawn, but this isn't just about hot takes and t shirts, it's about cold, hard financial reality. As we all know, it always comes down to the money. The WNBA pay protests are not about players wanting to be paid like LeBron James. They are about financial arrangement the league would probably rather you didn't know about. What if I told you the biggest fight in the WNBA isn't happening on the court, but is buried in the fine print of a contract that's costing players millions, even as they fuel the league's explosive growth? This is the story of that fight and the brutal math at its core. To get why the players are frustrated, you have to understand what's happening in the league right now. The WNBA is hotter than ever. The 2024 season was a landmark year, shattering records across the board. Total attendance shot up by 48% from the previous year, with average of almost 10,000 fans per game. Merchandise sales up a staggering 601%, and viewership is through the roof with games averaging 13.2 million viewers on major networks, nearly tripling the average from just last season. At the center of the hurricane of the hype is the Caitlin Clark effect. The rookie phenom has been a one woman economic stimulus package. One finance expert calculated that Clark was responsible for over 26% of all WNBA economic activity in the 2024 season. That's tickets, merch, and TV value combined. Games featuring her Indiana Fever made up 45% of the WNBA's total broadcast value. When the Fever came to town, or come to town, I should say, ticket prices on the road spike up by an average of 140%. The numbers are just wild. And yet, despite this boom, the players driving all this value feel left behind. The maximum super max salary for a top WNBA star in 2024 was about $241,984, with the 2025 super max projected to be around $249,244, and the average salary in 2024 was about $147,745. And Kaden Clark's rookie contract, despite her massive economic impact, started at just over $76,000, family. This creates a weird paradox, a league experiencing um, metric growth, um, while its players feel like being cheated out of their fair share. And this frustration finally boiled over when the WNBA Players Association officially opted out of their collective bargaining agreement, CBA, setting the stage for a high stake battle over the league's future. With all the metric growth and all that, man. And when you hear about the WNBA pay dispute, two arguments always come up. The first one is the flawed comparison to the NBA. And let's be crystal clear. The players are not asking for NBA level salaries. As Las Vegas Aces star Kelsey Plum famously said, we are not asking to get paid what the men get paid. We're asking to get paid the same percentage of revenue shared. That leads to the argument you always hear: the league isn't profitable. It's true that the WNBA has historically operated at a loss. In 2018, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver admitted the NBA had been propping up the WNBA by over $10 million a year. More recently, reports suggested the league was projected to lose over 40 to 50 million in 2024. And this is the argument critics cling to. How can you demand more money from a business that's in the red? It seems like an open and shut case, but that's where they're missing the real story. The players argue that the league's unprofitability isn't their fault. It's the result of a deeply flawed financial structure and an outdated media deal that is about to change everything. And this isn't about a lack of money. It's about where the money is going, because you always got to follow the money. And to really get this fight, you have to look past the surface level arguments and into the numbers. And the numbers tell a fascinating and, for the players, a frustrating story. First, let's talk revenue. Boosted by the Caitlin Clark effect, the WNBA's revenue is estimated to be around $200 million. But here's the single most important number in the entire debate. WNBA players receive about 20% of that league revenue in their salaries. Now, while that's a big improvement from nearly the 10% it was in the past, it's still miles away from the men's leagues. NBA, NFL, and NHL players all get a revenue share around 50%. But it gets even more complicated. The WNBA's revenue sharing model laid out in the 2020 CBA is completely different from the NBA's. While NBA players get a 50-50 split of all basketball related income, WNBA players can only get a 50% share of incremental revenue. This means they only share in the money earned above the league's secret preset revenue target for a given year. If the league doesn't hit those specific growth targets, the 50-50 sharing doesn't even kick in. And then there's the ownership structure. The NBA still owns a huge piece of the WNBA. Reports suggest the revenues is split, with about 42% going to the NBA, another chunk going to outside investors who put up 75 million, correction, $75 million in 2022. And only what left over is for the WNBA's teams and players to share. And this structure means a huge slice of the pie leaves the WNBA ecosystem entirely before the players even get a look at it. And this is the brutal math at the heart of the protest. The players see a league whose value is skyrocketing, but their pay is handcuffed by a system that gives them one of the smallest shares of the revenue in all professional sports. And this mathematical reality is what frames the entire conflict. And the players' demands aren't coming from a place of entitlement. They are a calculated response to a system they see as a fundamentally unfair, and they're fighting for a future where their pay is directly to the value they create. And that value is about to explode. And the WNBA's media deal brings in about 60 million per year, but starting in 2026, a new landmark deal with Disney, NBC, and Amazon Prime Video kicks in. This new deal is reportedly worth around 200 million a year, more than triple the current value. On top of that, the deal allows the league to sell additional media packages, which could push the total annual broadcast revenue to over 260 million easily. And this is the inflection point. The players union sees this massive flood of cash coming in and knows this is their moment of maximum leverage. With the old CBA expiring after the 2025 season, the negotiations for the next agreement aren't just about small raises. They're about rebuilding the entire financial relationship between the players and the league, and they're fighting for a true 50-50 revenue split, just like the men have. In recent negotiation meetings has been tense, with some players calling the league's initial offers disrespectful. Over 40 players, including stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, showed up to one meeting to present a united front, signaling just how serious they are. And this isn't just a negotiation, it's a battle for the economic soul of the league. So the outcome of this fight will define the next decade of women's professional basketball. And if you want to keep following the complex stories behind the headlines in sports, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. But when you zoom out, the WNBA pay protest is much bigger than basketball. It's a classic labor versus management story, a fight that has played out across industries for centuries. The players are not just athletes, they are the labor force for a rapidly growing entertainment product. They see the revenue charts going up and to the right, fueled by their talent and star power, and they are demanding a contract that reflects that contribution. Wouldn't you want to get something or a fair share of what you have effectively contributed into? And the simple fact is, it's like, for example, you in a relationship, right? And you sacrifice, as in financially putting your money up in regards of sacrificing for the family when it comes to making sure everybody has what they need and lifting everybody up. But the family don't respect you enough to say, look, you know what? Let's give you a break and let's pour into you now, because at the end of the day, you can't pour into an empty cup. So it's the same thing these players are saying when it comes to the pay us what you owe us shirts are not just a slogan, they're a declaration that the old model is broken. This fight is for a future where the women of the WNBA are no longer just employees of the league, but true partners in the success of the league. And the brutal math shows exactly what's at stake in the upcoming CBA negotiations will reveal whether the league is finally ready to solve the equation. Now, when you check out this article on CBS Sports as it reads, the WNBA All-Star Game 2025, Caitlin Clark of the Stars wore Pay Us What You Owe Us shirts amid CBA negotiations. The league's best made a big statement just before Saturday night WNBA All-Star Game. So you have Los Angeles Sparks, because we all know that Kelsey Plum isn't with the Las Vegas Aces, like I mentioned earlier, but it sparked back to when she was with the Aces. Kelsey Plum said the players held a meeting Saturday morning, and that's when they made their decision to wear the shirts. That was literally this morning of today. And the tone stayed the same after the game as Washington Mystics' Brittany Skies held a sign that read, "Pay the players," while Team Collier, the winning team, was being interviewed in the middle of the court. And the crowd at Cambridge Fieldhouse, which is in Indianapolis, seemed to be in full support as they chanted, "Pay the players," as WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert was speaking. Plum said the players didn't know the crowd was going to do that, but described it as a very powerful moment. So it's always very appreciative, especially when you don't expect for somebody to be rocking with you, but actually rocking with you and supporting you with a good cause and actually seeing the value within you. And I really believe that since um, Kelsey Plum was shocked that she didn't expect a child to chant, which we'll look at this clip in a minute, is because you have poured so much value, you don't want nothing back in return, but now you have people actually rocking with you and see the value that you bring, which is phenomenal. So I want you guys to check this out. I want you guys to check out the audio. Let me check. Okay, so this is the clip of the crowd. I said the crowd. The crowd chanting. So basically, they're chanting, like I said, to pay them, pay them. And then I have another article on Yahoo Sports, and it says Caitlin Clark WNBA players protest pay with All-Star pregame outfits. And I wanted to show you guys this clip because as the players went onto the court before the game, they all wore black T-shirts that said "Pay us what you owe us." And we all know why. I explained to you and gave you a breakdown why, because it's the battle between the WNBA and Players Union and talks over a new collective bargaining agreement. The end result is the protest that you see here from both All-Star game teams. But judging the reaction on social media, fans are choosing to side with the league over the players, and the key complaint amongst fans has been that the WNBA doesn't generate profit. I told you both sides of the argument earlier on in this video, and these are the comments from fans. The WNBA doesn't generate profit. Profit is operating at a loss, with the NBA providing financial support. Laugh out loud. The league lost $60 million last season. Be careful what you ask for. When will they pay the NBA what they owe them? This league would have gone bankrupt long ago without the NBA losing money to keep them afloat. And someone said, just focus on getting better at the game and rewards will come. Past 2 years, the quality of the game has gone up. This is backtracking. So this comment right here is basically saying, let's not focus on the past, but let's keep moving forward, and the money will follow up as you continue to put in the work, which is very objective. But I want you guys to see this clip, and I wanted to show you guys this last clip of them on the court with these shirts. You see Paige Buckles, you see all the individuals out here on the floor. They line up, warming up. Kelsey Plum, Fisa Collier, use all these individuals. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you got some value from this video, give this video a big thumbs up. On that note, family, peace.